In the heart of Baltimore, where sirens mixed with summer block parties and corner stores never really slept, Trey Lawson built his reputation young. People on the west side knew him before they knew his age. By 19, Trey had already mastered the art of survival. He grew up in a cramped row house with peeling paint, a mother working double shifts at a nursing home, and a father who disappeared before Trey learned how to shave. The streets became his classroom. Fast money became his education. Trey wasn't reckless, though. That's what separated him from the others. He moved smart. Clean sneakers, fresh white tees, designer belts bought in cash. A black Infiniti coupe that purred through the city like it belonged in a music video. He carried himself with the confidence of somebody who had never been told no enough times to fear consequences. Women noticed him, men respected him, and police watched him. But none of that mattered the night he met Kiera. It happened at a rooftop party downtown near the harbor. Music rattled the speakers while city lights reflected off the water. Trey almost didn't go. One of his boys dragged him out after a long week. Then he saw her. Kiera Monroe stood near the railing in a silver dress that caught every light around her. Long curls framed her face, and her laugh cut through the noise like a song everybody suddenly stopped to hear. She wasn't like the girls Trey usually entertained. She looked educated, calm, intentional. When Trey walked over, she looked him up and down before smirking. "You look expensive," she said. Trey grinned. "And you look dangerous." That made her laugh. From that moment, something locked in between them. Kiera had grown up differently. Her mother was a school administrator, her father drove buses for the city, and they raised her to stay away from men like Trey. She was finishing cosmetology school and dreamed of opening her own salon someday, but end up getting a job at Towson Town Center. But Trey fascinated her. He moved through life fearless. He could walk into any room and somehow own it. When they started dating, Trey spoiled her hard. Weekend trips to Miami, expensive dinners, shopping sprees at the harbor, late-night drives through the city with old-school R&B playing low while rain tapped against the windshield. For the first time in Trey's life, he started imagining something bigger than survival. Kiera made him feel human instead of feared. One night, sitting on the hood of his Infiniti overlooking the skyline, she asked softly, "You ever think about leaving this life?" Trey stared out at the city. "All the time," he admitted. "Then why don't you?" He looked down at his hands. "Because this city don't let people like me start over easy." Kiera grabbed his hand anyway. For a while, love felt stronger than the streets. But Baltimore had a way of collecting debts. Trey's money started getting slower. Friends he trusted started getting arrested. Rivals became bolder. Every day felt tighter than the last. Kiera noticed the stress changing him. The smiling Trey became quieter, paranoid, always checking windows, always carrying something under the seat. Then came the raid. At 5 in the morning, federal agents stormed the apartment Trey kept downtown. Doors flew open. Neighbors watched from cracked hallways as Trey was dragged out in handcuffs wearing gray sweatpants and no shirt. Kiera stood frozen in the kitchen, shaking. Trey looked back at her while officers pushed him forward. And for the first time in his life, he looked scared. The news spread through Baltimore before noon. Everybody had opinions. Some said Trey deserved it. Some said he got set up. Others simply moved on to the next story. But Kiera didn't. For months, she visited him every chance she got. Through thick glass and scratchy jail phones, they talked about everything they should have talked about before. The future, fear, regrets, dreams. One afternoon Trey finally said it. "If I get another shot, I'm done with all this." Kiera studied him carefully. "You mean that?" Trey nodded slowly. "I'm tired of looking over my shoulder." Years later, after plea deals, probation, and losing almost everything, Trey walked out into daylight with a duffel bag and a second chance. Baltimore still looked the same, but he didn't. Kiera was waiting outside the gate. Not in designer clothes, not in makeup, just jeans, tired eyes, and patience. Trey stared at her like he couldn't believe she stayed. "You still here?" he asked quietly. Kiera smiled. You finally decided to become the man I saw the first night. And for once, Trey didn't answer with swagger. He answered, with tears in his eyes.